What's up, Banter fam? Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Now, I know I'm bringing you a bearish show on the Monday. Sheldon, what are you doing? I thought we're getting excited. I thought the whole bull market's starting right now. Why are you bringing this? Because end of the day, I want us to always look at both sides, and I want us to be prepared for both. And end of the day, I would say that we are getting to a crunch time where we need bulls to step up. And yes, we zoomed in right now, but we just got to know the significance and the importance of where we're at right now to know, should we save some cash? Should we start protecting if things don't go in the bullish scenario? Is there still that big depression phase? Is there still this big phase over here? Is there still that suck out phase where something goes sideways for a good period of time? And I want to make sure that we are prepared for that. Now, we're going to go through the major levels. I want to speak about Bitcoin on the monthly, going very high time frame now to see where we're at, where we're looking at for the next year, and ultimately where we're looking at for the next 3 years. Is this the time to making sure that we are 100% within the market, or is there a lot more cheapness to come? Is there a big bull trap or a trap that's happening right now where we're just about to break back into bull season, but ultimately they have a little bit of different plans for us? Now, I want to go through the higher time frame on Bitcoin. I want to quickly speak about total 1, total 2, total 3, because what's very interesting about those charts is it's basically showing that we've had a dominance push of Bitcoin going up, really strong, and showing that we've had this restart of the cycle within Bitcoin. Okay. And ultimately, what I've seen as well is where we bounce on the total market cap and the total 2, total 3, it actually shows that if there is a big drop within Bitcoin where we do reject this major level, and by the way, there could still be a 20K Bitcoin, which I'll speak about. I know it sounds crazy, but if that did have to play out, it actually shows how Bitcoin and Ethereum will get smacked really hard, and the alts will get smacked, but not as hard. So it's a lot to see. Okay, so does that mean we should still hold some alts? What are we thinking about the Solana breakout? What do we think about the AVAX breakout? And that's the thing, guys. I just want to make sure that you're level-headed and you can pay attention and keep your emotions intact through either way that the market may move now. But we are at a very important level. And then we're going to go in the short time frames now to see, okay, this short-term pullback, are we bullish? Is there some trades within today? I want to go through the Dixie as well and quickly stock markets. We have CPI as well. And will that play effect within this week? Now, let's get straight into it. Let's speak about where we're at the moment. And I quickly want to jump to the higher time frame. So I want to start off with Bitcoin. And I want to jump and say, look at this. So I'm going to go bearish. I'm going to go very bearish on this chart over here. And reason being is because of the major levels. Okay, now we know we're at 31,000, 31,500. We had a small little break of a higher high last week, which I think could play a big role. But ultimately, we are at major resistance. If you go to the monthly chart over here, you could see very much that we had the huge bull run. We ended up having nearly a double top, slightly higher high over there, and a huge rejection, right? And we started this bear market. And what you saw just before we had the second attempt of Bitcoin going towards the $70,000 level is just before that we had this big pullback. And on this pullback over here, the $30,000 used to be support. And ultimately, what happened through that time is, a year and a half later, we ended up losing the critical $30,000 level. Therefore, we went to the lows of around, $15,000 to $16,000 area. And ultimately, after that, we've never reclaimed the $30,000 level. Now, this is where the big problem comes in. Is firstly, we had a lot of volume that got the bounce, which was really good. And now what we have is very little volume, which means at any moment now we're going to get a huge volume spike. Now, you need to understand that we are running out of time when it comes to the areas of the bulls on the stochastic RSI. I spoke about this in January. I think it was January or December, where I said this was reset. And you could see literally from the beginning of the year, we ended up having a good bull season, if you may call it, where the bulls literally reclaimed, from $16,000 all the way up to $31,000 in that time. And there we go, like good, strong push from the bulls. Now what we have is we have the RSI getting towards the top. And what it's basically indicating is there's going to be a temporary high set in Bitcoin within the next month or two. And then there may be another 2-3 months of a little bit of a higher time frame pullback. And then the next strong push. Very similar to what we see in these areas over here. We had the RSI at the top. Then you had this pullback and then ultimately the bull season. Okay, that's what we're asking now. We're asking, is there still a depression phase? Now, you need to pay attention to the previous run. Previous run, we had the whole bull market, we had a bear market, and we had this bear rally. And I think that's the big thing we're trying to clarify now. Is this a bear rally or is this the start of the bull market? And what you could see after here was we basically had the bear rally, and then we had this depression phase that everyone spoke about, the 2018, 2019 run, where Bitcoin was hardly doing anything. And ultimately, this sucks out the market. Now, why would you have, a depression phase? For me, a depression phase comes where there's not a lot of volume in the markets. Therefore, not a lot of projects get funding. You basically start to reveal the truth from what's quality versus what's crap. And ultimately, through this phase where nothing's really happening, I feel like a lot of projects will fail and start to collapse, especially a lot of games, a lot of NFTs, a lot of AI, all these little things where they're saying they're coming to change the world and they're bringing new technology. This will prove to see if they survive or not. I think a depression phase is very healthy within the market, to flush out the junk. Why did we have such a volatile last bull market and so many altcoins doing crazy things? Because it was filled with a lot of junk. And we end up going through so much hype and so much of these phases that you don't actually have quality within the market. And I feel if crypto is going to play a big role within the future, as our finance and things like that, we need it to be quality. And that's why I think a depression phase could come at any moment. Or I suppose regulating. I think regulating will come in and probably smack everything as well, which I do think. Remember, I want to remind you, I think that there's still maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years of leverage left. I think after that, regulating, I don't think it's going to be the same. Therefore, I'm going to bring up the topic again. We have Sniper School Cohort 7 starting within the next 3 weeks. Come and join. Go below and smash the registration button. Now, guys, don't go into Google and type in Sniper School. Go in below this video and hit the registration button and learn all the tools that you need, especially if there's no longer leverage in the future. Like, I would use these things to my advantage and not be afraid of it. I show you not to be afraid of it. That for me was actually a game changer for my whole career. Margin, these things. I never had a lot of capital, but I learned to use it in a non-selfish way. So go sign up below for Sniper School and let's get back in. So is this still going to happen? As long as we stay below 31,000, yes, it can happen. Now, you have the RSI getting to the top, okay? And ultimately, what this would basically mean is soon, in the next month or so, we should get a top in. And if we remain where we are right now, it's very likely that we have still not made support of this current move over here. And this could definitely be a pullback zone. And it might be quite an aggressive one. So what I did is I took the Fibonacci from the bottom to the top over here, and I had a look, where's the 618? And it's indicating between $21,000 and $22,000. I then looked at the trend line. It's indicating $21,000 to $22,000. I actually want to have a look here while we're on this. I actually want to see where is the 200 daily moving average. If that's in the same area, we start to get a little bit of an idea of what this big pullback could be. Let's have a look over here and let's put this within the daily. Where is the daily? Where's the daily? Okay, daily is moving up. Daily is sitting at 25K. Okay, but ultimately what we can see here is this is where the momentum is. And if we had to have a whole reset of the RSI, it would basically mean for the next 3 months or so, we will have a pullback within the market. We set in a higher low, very similar to what you could see over here. Yes, we had a crazy COVID wick, but end of the day, we closed a higher low and bull market started. So if we had to play this scenario out, is we basically have maybe 2-3 months of redness, maybe 4 months, and then bull market. From here, we should go and attempt those major highs. So you got to pay attention to this, be like, okay, so it's very important this monthly close does get through the major levels of 31,000. We got to get to levels of 40,000. This is what we need in order to be healthy and to show that we are finally making progress. And this could be bull territory that could move from right now. But as long as we stay below here, it can be very bad. Now, let's go through the scenarios of what this could actually mean within Bitcoin, within altcoins. Now, guys, I want to clarify. Higher time frame, I'm focusing on these levels right now and showing you what it can be. After this, we're going to go zoom in and we're going to go make sure, okay, only if this is lost does that scenario play out. And if this happens, we're still bullish. So short time frame, there's still some bullishness in me, definitely. but I'm also paying attention to the higher timeframes of what we need Bitcoin and the crypto market to do within this month. Yes, so obliterate the like button because Sniper's bearish for once. Not bearish, but he's showing you a bearish scenario. And I want to make sure we see both sides. Now, let's go quickly into the total market caps. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. Okay, so what I did is I drew this up and I just took some major horizontals. Okay, and same thing, major resistance over here. This was previous support. This is the total market cap, all the money that's within crypto. And you could see right over here, you could see that we're literally sitting in the middle. We're sitting right in the middle right now where we're about to have a huge directional move for the next few months. Okay, so what you have just above this is you have 45% to the upside. Okay, good to go test the next area. Then what we have, I'm going to focus on the bearish scenario now. I'm jumping to the bullish scenario straight after this. I will jump to the bullish scenario. Okay, but what I also noticed was when we came down in the total market cap, we bounced on this little wick over here. Okay, but for me, a wick bounce is never, it's not always the best bounce. I always want to see a bounce on the closing. The closing is always it's a more accurate level for me, as I feel wicks can be manipulated at times and they can make it seem, you know, that price is going in a certain way, but they actually trick you or trap you. So I like where things close. Very important for me to focus where things close. And if you have a look that we never hit it. So if you look over here at the moment, like we bounced on the wick, but we never hit the closing. So ultimately, as a very bearish scenario, if we had to reject from here and this RSI had to come all the way down, you could be looking up to a 50% drop within the total market cap. After that, I do think crazy bull. I do think I think we're lucky if we get these entries. And ultimately, I will be prepared if we do. But ultimately, that can be quite bad. But now what I want to show you guys is let's quickly go and look at the rest of the total market caps. So remember, total market cap is including Bitcoin. Let's quickly look at total 2, which is excluding Bitcoin. And what it's basically showing is also where we bounced was on the wick. And if we had to play the bearish scenario now, you can see this is not looking as bullish as what the total market cap looked. You know, it is showing, again, up to another push down over here, 30-40%. Okay, so I look at the total market cap, 50%, and look at total 2, possibly the areas of 40%. What does that mean? Ethereum, okay? Then, okay, we'll jump to bullish now. Let's stick with the bearish. Okay, then what we have is, this is where it gets very interesting for me, is total 3. Now, total 3 for me got completely destroyed. This is altcoins. This is excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum. And what it shows over here is, look at this RSI. Look at this one. This one's not even near the top just yet. So we're going to speak about why, you know, altcoins, you know, I feel that they got overly damaged. Therefore, if there is more damage, I think levels of altcoins will be a lot more respected. But what I do see over here is we bounced within the wick and the closing candle is here too. And I want to show you here as well, what's the percentage? 25 to 30%. So what it means for me that if there is a bearish scenario that plays out from now, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum get attacked more than altcoins. Yes, I do think there can be a little bit less lower lows within altcoins. I do, but I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are the ones that get hit a lot harder. Now, if you had to take those two charts and you say, okay, now let's go look quickly at Bitcoin dominance and where Bitcoin dominance is at. There we go. This thing's been rampaging up. So if the bearish scenario had to play out, I think Bitcoin gets hit. It's the same thing when it comes to the Ethereum dominance as well, which I'll get over here. There we go. Ethereum dominance. Look at that. It's been rampaging up. And if it loses this support over here, it can be coming all the way back down to these major areas. So therefore, I'm like, okay, if there is a pullback within the higher timeframes now, it means I can finally get Bitcoin and ETH at better levels. I think altcoins are already at crazy levels within dollar cost areas now. And maybe there's another 20% or a slightly lower low. But ultimately, I should be focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum if we do get this pullback. Now, let's go to the more bullish scenario. Here we go. There we go. Let's speak a little bit of bullish now. Bullish, you can see no volume at the moment, okay, when it comes to the monthly. Bullish scenario is we do break this 32,000. If that happens, we fly to the next resistance. We see a huge monthly and weekly squeeze. And this next move can go anywhere, like I said, between 40,000 and even up to the $45,000 level. And then what will happen is you're still going to get that pullback. You're still going to get that pullback. The difference, though, is it's finally going to reclaim the $30,000 level. It's going to break through, go to the next resistance, and it will respect the $30,000 as the floor again. Guys, this major box over here separates bear market and bull market for me. And therefore, if we get through this, we want to turn this base that used to be a floor back into a floor, and then we full bull. From that, it gives strength again for us to go and approach the highs and get back to the levels of possibly breaking all-time highs yet again. So this, for me, is crunch time now because we have this RSI hitting the top. Now, I want to bring some good news as well. This RSI, especially the monthly, the RSI actually, it's crazy that the price only really accelerates when the RSI gets overbought. So if you have a look at the last time, look how RSI started to make its way up. Okay, and price, there goes price, goes up, goes up, goes up. We get to $10,000, $12,000. And then it gets above the 80%. This is why when I explain within Sniper School and things like this, you don't just use the RSI, you use trend lines and use moving averages. You always got to have one or two extra indicators to help you with the decision, because sometimes it can confuse you a lot, okay? But what you have over here is price only started to accelerate when this got to the overbought position. So once we got over 80%, only then did Bitcoin hit this major rampage going from $12,000 all the way to $60,000 once we're in this area over here. So if the same thing had to play out now, where we're sitting at a very major resistance, and you got to go back over here. This was a major resistance, guys. Look here. There was the high. That's where we were at. RSI just hits overbought, and it finally smashes through it. Once it smashes through it, you get through resistance, you start to get volume, and you start to get a strong directional move. Therefore, if we had to break this area over here, I do see that very fast acceleration to the areas of the 40 to the mid 40,000s. We will turn that into support. There will still be that pullback, but ultimately the RSI will reset. Maybe it'll go halfway, or it will go all the way down to the bottom. We shall see. But at least we finally turned something that was our ceiling into the floor, and therefore strong push, turn into support, and we start to explode and we start to go chase the new all-time highs. Now, either scenario still plays out perfect for the Bitcoin halving. It still plays for perfect that we should have a really strong 2024 to 2025. 2025 should be the top. That should be the top areas within the market. The only difference is now, is there going to be a very depressing phase where we really have to get strong and really have to sit and stay within the market, stay interested? Or are we going to smash straight through this now, start that squeeze, turn that into support, and then start to move? So what I would actually do over here is, if you still got some cash, okay, you still got some cash in your long-term portfolio, I would seriously wait for this weekly close or the monthly close to see if we get above this area. We got to get above 32. Therefore, you will allow the market to run a little bit, let it turn into support, and you'll be wanting to add a lot more within these areas over here. This is your higher time frame portfolio. It's your portfolio that you are preparing for the bull market, okay? Or what happens, like I say, we end up rejecting hard here, and okay, $20,000 Bitcoin. These are the areas that I can actually focus on, and I can start putting my limit orders in place. Now, I want to ask you guys a question before I zoom in and I go into the rest now, because I'm going to speak about what this means for altcoins. Are you happy that Sniper is showing bullish and bearish scenarios? Are we happy with that? Because inside I'm a bull. Reason why I'm a bull is because as long as you remain bullish, eventually you're going to catch the bull run, and therefore all your pain and suffering, it will be worth it, and it will make sense when the bull comes. You start to respect the bull a lot more than what you respect the bear. But smash a like button and comment if you are enjoying that I'm giving both major scenarios. Now, let's go quickly look at what this means within altcoins. Look at this, guys. Firstly, what I do like, and this is why the bullish scenario still definitely stands strong, okay, is I like how these RSIs on the monthly on altcoins, like Bitcoin's there. Everything's up there. These are still good. So therefore, there's still that major squeeze that can happen at any moment. If there is downside and Bitcoin does come down, I don't see that much like destroying. Like, I feel like they came down so hard that if there is downside right now, Solana tests again between the $10 and $12. We've been there twice in the last year. I don't really see much major lows. And I start going through them over here and look at things like AVAX. Same thing. AVAX can go test, okay, the $8, $10 region. It got extremely smashed. Therefore, I think if the strong pullback happens, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Look at Phantom, 26 cents. What happens? It comes down. Okay, cool. To the 12, 14 cents area. So still, when it comes to risk to reward, there's still, I would say, huge opportunities within dollar costing in Solana, AVAX, Phantom, even MATIC at this point. As in DOT, look at DOT, look at many of these tokens. Look at that. I don't see that much downside. I see downside, but not crazy amounts. Another 20, 30%. Cool. It's more on the Bitcoin, and that would make a lot more sense. And you can see through these over here. So if you are, you want to play it safe, for me, I wouldn't be buying Bitcoin and ETH right now, but I would be dollar costing into a few major alts. Okay, that's me hedging. That's me hedging, basically saying, okay, that there's still a strong pullback that can happen at any moment, and I'll save some cash for that, for Bitcoin and ETH. That's what I really want to buy on the pullback. But if the market goes full bull now, Solana's going to rip. Solana can go to $60 at any single moment now. So could AVAX. AVAX can literally go to $30, $40. That's why I would rather be, if I'm sitting now and I want to hedge the market, I'd rather long some of the major alts for the bullish scenario, and I'd keep cash to buy Bitcoin and ETH, to buy the best assets within crypto on the bearish scenario. And that's how I'd hedge the market. Worst scenario is ultimately, well, best scenario is market pops. You're in the altcoins, you're not in Bitcoin. But guess what? By being in the altcoins, you're making Bitcoin and Ethereum. And when you sell those coins, you can get into those major assets. Worst scenario, your alts bleed a bit, but you gain Bitcoin and ETH. So, your chase of best of both worlds, whatever it may be. Okay, let's zoom in. I just want to see if there's anything else I wanted to show. Oh, let's quickly speak about this. What could give us a depression, when it comes to the major markets? Let's quickly look at the futures. So we got the stock markets over here. This was the huge COVID crash. And ultimately from then we had another crash. This was a big part of the bear market within crypto. And what we ended up doing was putting in two lows. So what you want to do is, I think, if we ever had to have a depression phase, for me, it would be a stock market crash. So what I would do is I'd put this major trend in over here. And ultimately, if we had to start to lose this, then we could really start getting a big pullback within the stock markets. This could possibly play a role in a depression phase or another test of Bitcoin around 20K. So keep that in mind over there. Right now, it's still looking pretty good, and it's holding this major 200 daily moving average on the monthly chart, which is really good. And ultimately, as long as we hold this and we crack this level, it could still possibly be another run in the stock market. Imagine we don't have a bigger pullback and we end up breaking highs yet again. This does mean probably the next 3 to 5 years we'll have another huge black swan event. But for now, we celebrate and we be positive. Next chart as well, quickly over here, is 𝗖𝗍. So guys, remember, I do macro shows on Monday, so we can get a little bit of a view. 𝗖𝗍 did lose the major trend, and we do have two plays. We're going to play of this coming down. If this bounces hard, bearish scenario. If this drops 618, very strong bullish scenario for us, and things are going to run. No more crazy pullbacks, all-time high stock markets, everything going crazy. So pay attention to that over there, critical level. And then what we have is the USDT dominance. Okay, last one I want to show you before we zoom in and we start going. Yes, both scenarios. I like that you guys are giving me direction of what you want from me. Remember, I do these shows here for you guys. You tell me what you want. Okay, then what we have over here, USDT dominance. People are staying in cash versus getting into the market. And what we had over here, this was obviously the lows of Bitcoin. When this was pumping to the upside, we had the lows come in. And then what we had is we started to slow down. Nice run in Bitcoin in the beginning of the year. And now we have a major support trend, which we are still in, which means bearish scenario is still active. But if we can finally have Bitcoin break through 31, 32,000 and we do rampage to 36 or 38, we will lose this trend. Therefore, we will start a bigger pullback. And ultimately, if that plays out, what would happen is would basically come down to these areas over here. And what these areas are is you basically look at November 2020 to June 2021. I think this is a $45,000 Bitcoin area over here. So it gives, this is also just backing. So what you want to do, put a line in over here, and ultimately you have this top line in over here too. This plays out, $10,000 Bitcoin. It sounds crazy, but it's there. And therefore, that's why, again, we want bulls to step up now, start the squeeze, and let's just finally get things to higher time frame downtrends, especially within the 𝗲𝗍, especially within the USDT dominance, just to confirm that we are hedging, yes, but we're also prepared on either scenario. Okay, happy days. Now, let's zoom in. Okay, guys, this is why we zoom in. This is why you have everything structured now on the shorter time frame, because now we can track. You now know how critical it is on the high time frame and the area that we're in. So we zoom in now. We go to the 4-hour, 8-hour charts, and we have these lows over here. We have the 29,600, which we've now hit 1, 2, 3 times. Okay, then what we have on the top, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 times testing the $31,500 level. Very clear right now that this can possibly give us the clear direction on which move's going to play out on that higher time frame. Okay, very much. And it shows that the closing candle above either of these will possibly give us that direction of which scenario is going to play out within the higher time frame view. Now, we have 2 options here too. First option is Bitcoin's just gaining strength. That's what it's doing. Okay, so what that basically means is we go up, we make a horizontal flag, and boom, we go through. There's bullish scenario. Okay. Second scenario is the 𝗵𝗵𝗃. This is the lower, we go down to the 20,000s, where we go up quick, we make a 𝗵𝗵𝗃 head. So you know the head, and then boom, eyebrow, and possibly this is where we start to go down to the lower areas. So that's why we basically are horizontally putting support, putting resistance in, because we know that there's 2 major plays. Secondly, what happened was we had a good bounce within the other day over here, which was really nice to see. And now what I've done is I've put this trend line in. Okay. And what this basically means is I'm looking for a 4-hour close. So if Bitcoin can start closing above 30,300, 30,400, smaller time frame, it means it might attempt here one more time. Okay, I'm hoping that we finally get through it on that play. If we again reject and come down, one of these are going to crack at some point, guys. And when one of them crack, that's going to give us the direction. So if you're looking now that the altcoins, as in Solana, MATIC, we're going to speak about the coins that are looking strong. If Bitcoin breaks this trend over here, I would attempt my last medium time frame to short time frame longs. I'll put them in now because this is the time. This is the time for it to run through. So on this break over here, I'll be paying attention to getting my last longs in, because this must be the time that we finally need to smash through there and start making the strong momentum. Otherwise, I am going to start preparing for the worst scenario. So now we look at that and we say, okay, cool. And remember what's nice about this, guys? Just 2 seconds. Let's go back there. Is if you did have to enter this trade, it's such a great risk to reward, because you can just pop your stops just below there. That's it. Put your stop losses there. We must not come back in. So it's just nice because you can minimize risk. You don't have to take heavy risk. Ask the guys that bought here versus the guys that bought here. The guys that bought here put their stops and it went. Now you buy here, you put your stops, you're probably getting stopped out all the time, right? I'm one of them too. Also been getting stopped out and chopped for the last week or so. But again, we're at the hard level, right? The hard level where they're going to try to shake us out. Now let's go look at the big scenarios over here. Well, the good altcoins. First one is Solana. Solana woke up. Firstly, what was great about Solana is where it's at. Now, if you go back and you go take this major trend line, okay, you go take this major trend line over here. Solana is popping out. There we go. Breakout, retest right now. So for me, as long as Bitcoin's above that 30 now, I am attempting the strong altcoins, because I know at any moment this will go. And if this plays out and Bitcoin breaks that 31,000, this is where I see Solana go to $40, $45, maybe even $55 range. So I'm focusing really hard on getting the Solana entry right now. So what you had over here was it basically had this previous dump off within June. We reclaimed all of that. We double topped, meaning for me, I'm looking at an inverse head and shoulders. So I have 2 areas within Solana. I have a small area now, which is a short time frame 618 to slowly dollar cost. But what I also have is you could see the left shoulder over here, the head, the right shoulder, test the breakout, and from there, I'm seeing the move. So I would probably have two orders. I'd look at dollar costing a little bit into Solana now, and I'd have a little bit lower around the 1950 as another area to be getting Solana. But Solana's definitely one of the strong altcoins now. And when it comes to healthiness of sideways, right, sideways within the market, this is a great accumulation. This is really, really, really a good accumulation. And what they say about accumulation is as long as a coin goes sideways and accumulates, it might be angled, it might be sideways, as long as this creates the result. Therefore, this is why you have bear markets, because you'll have 3 years of down cycle and sideways accumulating cycle, and therefore you'll have 1 year of crazy move to the upside. So what they say is as long as you accumulate, this is smart guys, big investors, that are buying and accumulating over time, because we know whenever you get to an area where it's sideways, there's not a lot of volume in the market. Therefore, if they just come buy everything they want right now, they'll pump the market. And therefore, they might get sold in from another whale. So what they do is they build a position over time. Every time it hits the low range, they add. And if you take this, you could start to see every time we get to a certain area, we bounce. And this is accumulating. So when it comes to healthiness is, can Solana really go to $40 from here? Can it go to 60? When it comes to accumulation, this is a great accumulation for results that could take it anywhere back up to those areas over there. So yes, this could be the time, and it could have accumulated enough now to finally start breaking major levels and get back to where I believe Solana deserves to be, which is at least above the $60 area. And if from here we get it right, this entry, I'm hoping we can hold this entry all the way up to the areas of $60, if not within the whole bull market. So very big. Second one that came to play was AVAX. AVAX started to wake up. It started to have a nice little pump over the weekend. And I'll show you on the smaller time frames what AVAX actually did. Was it reclaimed the trend. So this doesn't happen all the time, but it reclaimed it. And it's in a zone right now, guys. Anyone for spot? This is a great 6-1 area bounce now to be adding in. Because I do think, again, Bitcoin goes bullish now. I think AVAX, we can see very clearly, is breaking to the Bitcoin trend and is showing a lot of strength. And therefore, this is a great short-term pullback with a higher high. But what I want to speak about is it's fighting this major resistance. This is why it got rejected in the area. And what it actually did a week ago is it actually lost trend. And it looked really, really, really bad. And what happened is we ended up bouncing, and we lost. Boom, we lost trend. And all of a sudden, it just shot through strong. So a lot of people would have got stopped in these areas, as in myself. I even started worrying about my positions in that area. But now that it's broken completely through and retesting the same area and retesting and reclaim that trend, I see a lot of strength within AVAX. And the shorter time frame over here is you could see that's very much a bull leg where we made our way to the upside. Now we're coming down. And if you bounce on 618, this should be the progression, to make the higher high. Now, if it does make the higher high, I see the gap. I see there's a nice gap. And the gap is from this resistance, which was previously support, to this one. And therefore showing 16, 20, 24. These are the levels that these possible entries can be getting you. Now, next one over here, MATIC. So MATIC obviously got smashed, being labeled a security and things like that. It got hit really hard. Therefore, we end up having quite a big bit of downside. Let's not deny that MATIC had a really good bear market. They were one of the only guys who were really building at the time. And they did get smacked recently. They started to catch up to the rest of the alts. But what you can see over here is since we bounced, we formed the support trend, which we've been holding really good. And then what I have over here is this great daily resistance. And I actually shared this within Twitter. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, guys. Twitter. Oh, secondly, if you love this content and you want a 2-scenario Sheldon, go to my YouTube channel. Go to this one over here, Sheldon the Sniper, and go subscribe and actually go watch my last my last video. I think you're going to really enjoy. If you struggle with money, watch this. So if you're struggling with money, go watch that video and go show lots of love. Okay. And if you look over here, guys, if MATIC breaks out here, I think I can start a MATIC run. And I tweeted about it and I said that this is the daily. And if we have Bitcoin break out it looks like MATIC is going to finally hit a strong catch-up level and start to rally up. And this could be the run back to $1, $1.20, and $1.53. So if you were interested in this MATIC and you love MATIC, firstly, I think it is at a decent area at 68 cents. If you asked me a year ago in the middle of the bear market, when it was sitting around $1, $1.20, that would go back to 60, I'd be like, whoa, okay. I don't think so. Now it's here. And end of the day, if we break this trend, it is so nice for you to look after your risk, because you can literally pop a stop in that area over there. You're running at around about a 5 to 8% stop. And if this bullish scenario plays out, you can be looking at $1. You can be looking at a good 20, 25% to the first target, if not the start of the bull market and back to the crazy areas. So MATIC's definitely one of the greater ones over there. Let's actually get 𝗿𝗏 in here and see what 𝗿𝗏's thinking. 𝗿𝗏, what's happening, bro? You're muted. Let's see if I can unmute you there. There we go. What's happening?
Yeah, just scalping a little bit of these bounces here.
Sure.
We've seen a lot of these alts. Yeah, a lot of these alts have come down and they've hit some great areas. This is Phantom. I grabbed it this morning. It was a really simple play for me. Took it off the 618, had some horizontal support. And then we also had this 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗍 order block over here. So for me, it made sense that there was a possible scalp coming in for us. So I've grabbed it. Target-wise on Phantom, I'm looking at a move, to this 382 here and this horizontal. So, looking somewhere around, say, a 7% move. But I'll probably start taking off as we go, because it's just a bounce scalp for me. And then my stop is under this candle, under today's candle. So I'm just keeping it very simple. I think
shorter time frame, it's I don't know, it's good short-term longs with stops under the previous lows.
100%. Yeah, I'm keeping it simple till CPI. Even Link, potential downside here for Link, but I mean the best way to play Link, for example, is to just crack in this trend here. And just like you've seen on BTC, like you've explained to everybody. I mean, here's our little double bottom. Let's wait for a break on Link and see how it plays out there. It's quite simple stuff here. The stops are quite clear. We've seen it on Ocean as well. Nice break, sitting on a 382. If the market starts moving, Ocean should hold. If it doesn't, my eyes are on this 200-day MA 618 and horizontal. So 0.35, 0.349, sort of that region, probably a good bounce. And then Craig's favorite, stacks. Look at this.
Oh, there we go. Finally in the good zones.
Trend 618 and a 200-day MA. So for me, it's telling me there's a possible bounce here. And then the exit is very simple. And you can put that
top trend in as well.
Yeah, totally. So, you can play it many ways. You can pull it, you can catch the bounce down here, or you can let the market play out a little bit. And let's see where we go. And then, maybe just jump in on that break and retest. So there's a couple of ways to play it at the moment, but yeah, just scalping for me. Yes, file 618. Yeah, it's all over, guys. So you just pull your fibs, get your trends. You'll see they're all sitting on nice levels now.
I think the next day or two, again, we'll know. If Bitcoin finally breaks out, then we'll just bring out all the alts and we'll go crazy. But as it stands now, everything's on support. And for me, Bitcoin's on 30K now. It's like, this is for me, it's my last time to get longs, because if it's bullish, it's got to play now. And if it's not, stop me out, because we're going to see huge downside. Like that's just the truth of it. So, okay, amazing.
Level by level. Yeah, we good. We're just scalping you off these areas.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, brother.
Sweet, bro.
Cool. So guys, if you heard now, 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏. So it's an indicator service. So go below, sign up for 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏. It helps with order blocks, helps you with buy areas, sell areas. Definitely something good for you to have within a trading market. And I just want to show you guys again, this is why I'm saying I'm not afraid to enter my last longs, because it's either now or we're going to, have a strong downtrend. But look at this. We have a NEAR protocol sitting now on the smaller time frames in 618 and 786. And it's two ways it's going to go. It's either going to go back to these trends. You can see a lot of these coins are making these wedges. We're going to go there, which means that's a good 20, 25% push. Or there's literally, I'll show you the percentages here. From here, I either get 32% or that bearish scenario I was speaking about, total 30% to the downside. So you could see it with a lot of these tokens. Look at DOT. That's the play. Either we're going to break now, break trend and go, or boom, to the downside over there. So you can see a lot of them are showing these major areas over here. Look at that, 𝗬𝗿. We're in that trend. Look at these trends. By the way, guys, if Bitcoin does hold and all these alts break these trends, these are long trends. This is the same as Solana trend, MATIC trend, you know, a lot of these trends there as well. So you can see these plays at the moment. So to number down that we have our crazy month ahead of us, that we need to have a close above $32,000, I would say, to show that we are back in bull territory, and there's 40,000 before a retest and turning support, which is 20K now, but we want to make it $30,000. Or this is a strong pullback of Bitcoin backed to the areas of 20K. So the monthly close is going to be very important. I would say last line of longs now, to prepare for either of them. If you are looking for longs, my favorite at the moment, no financial advice, but is Solana, AVAX, Phantom, MATIC. These are the three that, well, the four that I think are really strong if the market wakes up. And there's even maybe a Doge trade. So let me speak about Doge quickly. I want to speak about Doge. So we obviously had little pullbacks, but things go bull. You know, let's look at the best meme coin over here, which would be this token over here, which is Doge. Look at that, guys. So if Bitcoin holds, okay, in the next possible 5 to 7 days, Bitcoin holds and it breaks up, I think we're going to have a mega Doge pump. So pay attention. Remember, you want to prep yourself that if market goes bearish, you can dollar cost lower, maybe 20-30%, cool. But if market goes bullish, what are the best coins to trade when that happens? So you just want to have these long-term trends in place so that you're ahead of the rest. And I think there might be a great Doge trade coming up in the next few days. Guys, have a fantastic day. We'll be back with many charts and trades from tomorrow. Let's see direction today. We have CPI in 2 days. Will that give us a big directional move? Either way, I think this week will determine if we're going to the lower 20,000s or we're going to 40,000. Have a fantastic day. Look after your mental health, and I'll do the same. I need to eat, actually. I need to have lunch. So have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love, fam.